What's up, everybody, and welcome to my Smackdown review, pretty much the go-home show before WrestleMania this Sunday. It's going to be a lot going down, and since it's the go-home show for Smackdown tonight, pretty much last-minute preparations for anything going down this Sunday. We kicked off the show with Daniel Bryan, who had pretty much a good reaction out there, over as usual, with a Daniel Bryan chant. A lot of yes chants also, as he welcomed everybody to Smackdown and brought out Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon came out, but kind of, held his stomach, I guess, because of, I guess, the injury and stuff. I am actually surprised to see Shane McMahon back. I actually thought Shane McMahon was going to be replaced for WrestleMania, because I know they talk about that diverticulitis, and it was hernia, and they say he would have to have surgery. I thought they would come up with a replacement, or is Shane going to stand on the apron throughout most of the match this Sunday? I'm not really sure, but they say he's medically cleared and he looks good to go, so I guess that's going to happen, since Shane's really going to do this match. I just really thought he was going to get replaced right here. But it's still official. Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. People chanting Shane McMahon, and Shane congratulated Daniel for fighting for 3 years to get back his career and being medically clear to do what he loves to do. And he couldn't be more excited for him as a partner. But he then pretty much talked about the last 3 weeks in the hospital, which they pretty much, said about the whole diverticulitis and the hernia. But I said before, he's cleared to compete, and they're going to give it all they got at WrestleMania and make sure they take them off Smackdown for good, which they'll probably end up on Monday Night Raw after this. But Bryan pretty much talked about stuff that's happened over the 6 months, and he let his 15-year friendship with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn get in the way, and they pretty much Shane apologized to Daniel Bryan after all that has happened in these past months, even though most of these 6 months has just been a very, very bad for SmackDown, because they didn't even know if this match was going to happen or if Daniel Bryan was going to be cleared. And we spent many months really wondering who was going to turn on the other, pretty much between Daniel and Shane, or who sides with who, or who's more heel this week, or who's face this week. And they really got annoying for a very long time now, both of them. But as they apologized and everything, Bryan said, there's one thing to do with tag team partners. I can't work out our differences. They got a hug, but Shane wanted to do a handshake, but Bryan said, you just shake my hand 2 minutes ago. We have to hug. Shane didn't want to do it at first, but they did it. They hugged, and then they pretty much, they hyped up the crowd for WrestleMania, and Shane thanked Daniel Bryan for reinstating both of them, so he can finally get his payback for all what they've done to Shane McMahon from attacking Vince McMahon, and Sammy stopped him and get his revenge. And like I said before, they pretty much both said they will never see both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn on SmackDown again, which they will probably end up on Monday Night Raw 9 times out of 10. If they win, then they'll be on SmackDown then. Some think one is going to turn heel on the other. I keep hearing that about between Shane and Bryan now, but I probably will say that for a prediction video later on, because it's going to be a lot to talk about, especially coming up this weekend. Natalya winning against Charlotte. The match was kind of was pretty much kind of like a few weeks ago, really. It sounded like the match wasn't bad or anything, but it's almost like what we saw kind of 2 weeks ago, and kind of doing the whole Carmella cash-in thing again, pretty much. So I don't know why we did the same spot literally 2 times now for some reason. But Carmella tried to cash it in, but Charlotte kicked the briefcase out of her hand and then kicked Carmella. Natalya tried to go for a roll-up. Natalya pretty much got caught into a figure 8 by Charlotte, winning the match. Asuka came out then, which pretty much these two were going to face each other right after SmackDown ends, by the way, on the whole mixed match challenge in the finals between her and Bobby Roode versus Asuka and The Miz. So we kind of knew that was happening, and pretty much I'll give Corey Graves. Corey Graves made Byron Saxton like a freaking idiot, pretty much calling them, he called them a delinquent. He says, they're facing each other in 2 hours. We know it's Sunday, but they're gonna face each other 2 hours right after this show. So I will probably look up that match to see who wins. I feel like Asuka and Miz are gonna win because I will say one thing about this whole mixed match challenge. Every time they've had Asuka out there doing a match, they've always mentioned the streak, that even if Miz lost, that her streak was in jeopardy and would pretty much lose right there. So in a way, this whole mixed match challenge has been pretty fun, don't get me wrong, but also predictable in the same way, because it's like, if they're going to keep announcing right after every SmackDown that Asuka's streak is on the line, then you kind of know Asuka's going to win. So I won't be surprised even if I look at the match that Asuka and Miz win the whole, mixed match challenge. But yeah, these two are going to meet right after this show pretty much. Asuka did grab the microphone and says that the Queen will bow down to the Empress. Kind of went around saying Empress a lot until she said nobody is ready for Asuka, but Charlotte took the microphone and says, "Are you ready though?" And then, gotta look at that, point at that WrestleMania sign. I'm getting tired of that with everybody. But yeah, they pointed the WrestleMania sign setting up for that match. They had an interview with AJ Styles. Could have done better with a video package, but he talked about wearing his emotions on his sleeve and everything, and they aren't his weakness, they're his strength, and that Nakamura takes him too lightly, and that he will be the WWE champion after WrestleMania because it's far from the Tokyo Dome. Finally, they mentioned something from, I guess, the match they had a couple of years ago, and he pretty much said this is a dream match, but in reality, he's going to beat Nakamura at WrestleMania, since they both have a tag match later on tonight against Gable and Benjamin. But the promo was good, but didn't really take it that serious. Just say, hey, I'm gonna beat him this Sunday at WrestleMania. I already said what I said about the women, so pretty much something like 2 weeks ago, pretty much. They showed a video package with pretty much once again the tag match again between Daniel, Shane, and Owens and Zayn, even though we just kind of had this mentioned earlier. Bobby Roode was on commentary as Sunil Singh pretty much introduced Jinder Mahal to go against Aiden English, which Aiden English now raps a lot for some reason, doing his Rusev Day introduction for the song. Like, he still sings, but look, he's probably spinning a whole bunch of bars now when introducing Rusev. Rusev went against Jinder. There wasn't nothing to say from here. Of course, Rusev Day was going to be over in general. Rusev won the match. He beat Jinder Mahal with a Machka kick, which for some reason I feel now he's not going to win this Sunday. I don't know why. I feel like when I know 50-50 bookings, like before, if anybody wins a match for a pay-per-view, you know that person's going to lose. And I know they probably, like, Rusev won the match here, but I feel like he's going to lose. Then next thing you know, Randy Orton comes out of nowhere, RKO after that. Aiden English attacks Orton. English about to do some move off the top rope until Rude distracted him. Until Orton pretty much hit an RKO on English. Then him and Bobby Roode stare at each other as Roode handed him back the U.S. Championship for this fatal 4-way this Sunday. Listen, I know I don't think a lot of people care about this match in general, even though it's changed to a fatal 4-way, because it was a triple threat match for first, and I couldn't care if any of those three guys could win, but for some odd reason, I think Mahal is going to win. And now they're making it a fatal 4-way. I don't know if they're really going to jump on the Rusev Day train, which I don't know why. He's making these guys a lot of money right now, and how over he is, but it's like I said before in the past, WWE doesn't like it when you're over on your own. And I feel like they're throwing Rusev a bone, but since Jinder took this loss tonight, for some odd reason, he's gonna win the match this Sunday. I don't know why, but I don't think Rusev is gonna win for some reason. But I'll explain more of that in the prediction video. New Day were in the back, hyping up the WWE Network as they pulled computers and tablets and phones out of their pants and clothes or whatever. I thought they were going to pull an Xbox out of Xavier Woods' clothes. The Usos came up then, pretty much says, we're defending our titles this Sunday. And then the Bludgeon Brothers just kind of interrupted the Usos as they were talking about the Uso Penitentiary. The Bludgeon Brothers pretty much hit the camera with hammers then. It was nothing. They didn't really hype up this tag team match, especially into the end, I guess. They just kind of like, hey, the tag matches this Sunday did not really get hyped since they were just mostly trying to promote the network. And I don't know, just, I'm not saying it looked corny all the way, but even the Bludgeon Brothers using their Thor hammers to hit the camera was kind of like, whatever. You could have hyped this up better into the end, but they didn't. So, hey, that's your preview for this Sunday. God. Well, the Andre the Giant trophy, which looks like a giant piece of cheese, was made of cheese for some reason. It's like, it's made out of a block of cheese. Zack Ryder, Breezango, and Ty Dillinger went against Dolph Ziggler. Primo, which I didn't know any of Primo or Epico was even still in this company, to be honest. I didn't even know they still existed around here. So somehow Primo and Epico are still in the WWE. Yeah, Primo and Epico are still in this company. So yeah, they're still here. Mojo Rawley and Baron Corbin. Listen. And yeah, Dolph Ziggler was it too. Listen, I don't think anybody cared for this 8-man tag. Nobody doesn't really give a crap about this Andre the Giant Battle Royale trophy. This is why it's on the pre-show. It hasn't elevated anyone. Dolph Ziggler, wasn't this guy fighting for the WWE Championship not that long ago? Ziggler, I don't even know what to say about Dolph Ziggler in many ways. But hey, they signed this guy to like a $1.5 million contract that he re-signed to. So, hey, he's got that money, but still not going anywhere in this company. Mojo Rawley, what has that trophy done for him in the whole year? Nothing. Nothing. Turn him heel. Nothing. Zack Ryder, still here somehow. Breezango, don't see any of the fashion files anymore. Ty Dillinger's here, but doesn't do anything. Or still loses, but still counts to 10. Baron Corbin, well, you see how cold they felt on him now lately, and that's not going anywhere. So, I don't really care about any of these guys. I don't think any of them are going to win the Andre Trophy in general, and who really cares? Gable and Benjamin. Hold on. Okay, hold for a second. Alright, call back in 5 minutes. Just do it. No. Dude, alright, I'll call in 5 minutes, alright. Busy. Alright. Sorry for that interruption, but, what was I going to say? Gable and Benjamin, they did their weird Snapchat video thing. Talk about they don't care about this whole dream match and that they were going to take out Nakamura and Styles. Next thing you know, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn enter from the crowd. Pretty much talking about Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon and how Sami says that, you know, we're apologizing to I guess Daniel Bryan, you know, his wife and his daughter for Birdie for not, you know, fond memories of her dad's return, or Brie that she would be broken. We'll send a broken man back to you, and that Shane McMahon will be sent back to Titan Towers, and you know he's gonna leave a scar on Shane's forehead, and you know they just ranted along after a while, and the crowd reacted somehow, but yeah, they pretty much had their mics cut off, and Daniel and Shane said, "This is hey everybody, make sure you record your phones at these two, because this is the last time you'll see them on SmackDown." And then they pretty much said nah, hey, goodbye chant. So you think Daniel and Shane will be a little bit more serious leading into this after they got the crap kicked out of them by these two, but it's kind of like, whatever. And it's kind of like whatever, so we'll just be ready for Sunday. AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura went against Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable in the main event. Nothing much to say from here. Tag match, pretty much whatever. Both of these two kind of went at each other throughout the match, pretty much staring at each other, and especially AJ trying to pat Nakamura's head, and Nakamura patting AJ's head, trying to do mind games. And pretty much after they, you know, they stared at the end, AJ didn't even tag Nakamura. He pretty much hit a phenomenal forearm on Chad Gable and won the match. And AJ Styles pretty much grabbed his belt and left, but Benjamin tried to attack Nakamura. Nakamura took him out, but AJ Styles pretty much was about to do the forearm, but he pretty much did another gotcha thing like Nakamura got him last week. He didn't ever hit him with the forearm, and he patted Nakamura on the head as Nakamura looked pissed looking at him, and that was the end of the show. And it's not a lot to say from this whole thing, really, other than, hey, just WrestleMania this Sunday. And I will say the build to WrestleMania has not been a really good build this year. And these go home shows, they haven't built up a lot of these matches, especially I will say for the WWE title match. In my opinion, they've done some things, but you know, they never really got personal throughout all these things or built them up that big. It was just kind of like, you know, the match will be this Sunday. Everybody says it's a dream match. I've said before, I don't know if it's really gonna compare like they did 2 years ago back at Wrestle Kingdom 10 and the Tokyo Dome, and how a match of the year candidate there was. Hey, I'm not saying that we'll have a great match or anything, but will it really come to comparison as for that? Because they didn't really build up anything. They didn't never really tell a history lesson between these two. Say, hey, you know, these guys fought each other before in Japan. We never really, I already know they're not going to mention anything from a few years ago at, you know, in New Japan or anything, or the match they had there before. So it's like they've only done a little in this feud, but we know they'll have a great match though, no doubt about that. But hey, I'll say more on that in the prediction. So Smackdown is just not a lot to say for him other than, you know, hey, WrestleMania is Sunday, so just be ready. That's the main focus for this week. Just be ready for this Sunday for WrestleMania. We will probably come on prediction videos because, like I said, it's going to be a very long weekend of wrestling. Okay, it's going to be a long weekend. It's a lot of hype leading into this. You got NXT Saturday, Ring of Honor on Saturday, WrestleMania Sunday, Hall of Fame Friday. I may even go to Twitch and check out that whole Lucha Underground versus Impact thing. So, yeah, that's what's going to go down. Raw Monday, Tuesday, Smackdown. But I am out of here. Prediction video later in the week. Peace out.